Autumn. Today I wanted to do a video where I try out some new beauty products I just purchased. The main two that I wanted to try out and do a full face with was this Makeup Forever palette that's got your foundations and your cheek colors all in one palette. And then I also wanted to try this FENTY SUNSTALKER palette, which you should be able to use for eyeshadows and bronzer. And I thought that these would be perfect products for this summer for me to take traveling with me if I only had to take a couple things to kind of add in these two. That's kind of what I was going for today. I did add in obviously a couple of extra products that I wanted to try out today, like this PACIFICA mascara. And also I got a new shade of the Benefit brow pencil. I got 4, which is what I have in my brows today, and I also got the gel. So those are all of the products that I got to make this full face of makeup. And if you're curious about how they performed and how I use them, go ahead and keep watching. All right, so let's get started. I have my drink here. I have a little iced coffee that I just made myself to kind of wake up for the day. Also, I'm sure you kind of noticed that my voice is off. I am getting over a sickness. That's also why I haven't been posting YouTube videos in the last couple of weeks, because I've been really sick. If you kind of want to see what's going on in my life, you just see that like I'm not posting anything on YouTube. I usually do updates in my Instagram stories, so make sure you follow my Instagram and you'll pretty much see what I'm doing on a daily basis. All right, so I want to prep my skin in a way that's going to allow product to kind of like slide and blend easily, since the foundations are solid. So I'm going to go in with this. It's the VICHY Mineral 89 Prebiotic Concentrate, and start off by putting that all over my face. Then I'm also going to spray my face with this from Beauty Pie. It's their Essence Mist. And then I'm going to put on one of these Beauty Pie capsules. I actually really love these for makeup prep because they make my face, well, slidey, I guess. I don't know. But it makes everything really smooth. And makeup usually always applies really easily when I have one of these on. All right, so let's jump in and grab this little palette here. I haven't touched this at all, so I'm really curious to see about the textures. So here you can see. And we're obviously going to have to mix a foundation shade for me. I think the closest by looking at it might be a mixture of these two. So we're going to have to see. All right, so I grabbed a palette and a little thing here, and I'm actually going to just scrape off some product into the palette to kind of mix to try to get my foundation shade. I need some of that deeper shade too to add to the olive. None of these are really olive though, by the way. They mostly lean yellow. So let me mix these around and see. Oh, that's a little bit deep. So I'm then also going to go in with some more of the white shade. So not too bad. Maybe I should use a beauty blender. So I went and grabbed a beauty blender so I can see if it blends out well. I don't know if it's blending out well or it's just removing the makeup. Let's try it with the beauty blender directly on the skin. All right, I'm gonna have to make some more. I thought that would be enough, but I think the beauty blender picked up quite a bit of it. And I've already hit pan on the lightest shade, trying to add it to the others to bring it down. Okay, this looks good. Okay, so I think we are good with the kind of base layer of foundation. And I think we should go in now, or I should go in now, with one of these deeper shades here for contour or for bronzing. So I think I'm gonna go in to this one right here for bronzing. These are really too warm toned for contour. So I'm gonna just kind of put it where I want it, and I'm gonna come back in with the Beauty Blender and blend it out. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And then, so let's jump into these blush shades. I want to try a couple. And I think I'm first gonna go in, just because I'm curious, with this kind of deep purple one. Because I think a little bit of that mixed with the coral might actually give a really sort of like natural sort of flush look. So I'm gonna hop into that first. Okay, and then I'm gonna hop into this bright coral shade here and go over. Okay, and then I'm just gonna jump back in with this Beauty Blender and kind of blend it out. Yeah, that's pretty, it's natural looking. Okay, so we're gonna give this palette a break for a minute, and we're gonna jump into this palette, which is new from FENTY. This is their SUNSTALKER Face and Eye Bronzer Palette. So again, it's one of those palettes that's supposed to be able to work on everybody. And I'm first gonna go in and try to bronze with some of these lighter shades here. The thing is, these are bronzer shades, but it's more like an eyeshadow situation because you can't really fit your brush in unless you're willing to like go into more than one at once, which I am. So I'm just gonna do these two right here on this blush brush and kind of just go in and bronze a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab an eyeshadow brush. And should I prime my eye? I feel like I should. I don't always prime my eye, but let's go ahead and prime the eye. And I'm gonna use Painterly Paint Pot here for that. And anyway, let's go in with an eyeshadow brush and start building an eye look from these bronzer shades. So I'm first going in with this lighter shade, like the lightest shade here, and kind of just going into the crease. And I like to build it up right here as well. All right, now I'm gonna go into this next shade, which has more of a yellow undertone to it, and kind of work that in. And then taking that same shade, I'm gonna take it under the eye. Okay, and then we're gonna pause there for a second, and I'm gonna go back into base products. I recently repurchased this MAC cream color base in the shade Hush, and we're gonna use that as a highlight. All right, so I feel like I need a little bit more of a flush on my cheek, so I'm gonna go in with this middle shade here and just kind of apply it. Yes. And I feel like this formula, at least the blush formula, works better with fingers. I haven't quite figured out the like sort of foundation formula yet. Yeah, I think that looks way better. I'm gonna go in a little bit more with MAC Hush, just kind of over the edges here to blend it. Yeah, that looks 1,000 times better. And then I do want to hop in and try some of these two highlight shades, but I think I'm going to use the more gold one dusted lightly over my eye. And then I want to try this one right here, maybe on the cheek. Let me put it on my hand first, see what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to try to put it just right there on my cheek and a little bit on the brow and maybe some on the inner corner here. Okay, so I think the complexion looks really good. Let's hop into brows. I recently picked up a new shade of the brow pencil. I found the others were a little bit too warm on me, so I switched to shade 4, and I used to be shade 3, 3.5. So this one seems a little bit cooler, so I'm just gonna go through a little bit and fill in some bald spots. And then I'm just gonna jump in with this brow gel and comb them up a little bit. And then again, I'll go back in and fill in any empty spots after I gel them into place. But that actually looks okay. I don't think I'll need to. So then I recently made a purchase through Ulta where if you spent so much money, they sent you like this huge like bag of samples. And it actually had quite a few full-size products in it, to include this from PACIFICA, which is their vegan collagen fluffy lash. So I thought we would try this out together on camera. And the reason I wanted to try it, I'm not gonna lie, is the package feels like really heavy. And something about a weighted product just always makes me think that the quality is better. I'm gonna go ahead and curl the lashes. All right, and let's just go in and try this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and open it so you can kind of see. Interesting brush. Hopefully you can kind of see. This brush doesn't seem to be doing much. Like, it has product in it, but I don't feel like it's really grabbing my lashes and doing a whole lot. We'll let that sit for a second while we do this eye, and then maybe we'll add another coat and see if it makes a difference. I feel like I have a big gap in my lashes right here. I need to like put a false lash in there. Okay, so this is a second coat. It just, I feel like it's not doing a whole lot. Okay, so that's enough. I need something on my lips, which it won't last long because I've been blowing my nose nonstop. But let's go ahead, wipe this off, and we're gonna try some of these blush colors, or maybe one of them. I'm just gonna go in with this one. On my face, it felt really glossy, but then I put it on my lips and it doesn't feel that way. All right, so give me a minute to do my hair, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about each of these products. All right, I'm back. Let's talk about the products really quickly. Obviously, I wanna start with the first thing that I think was kind of the star of the show. And I have a ton of pros and cons about this. So the first thing that I would say as a pro is I like the variety in here. Like, I feel like almost any skin tone that is this dark or lighter will have something. The only problem is, if this is your skin tone, that actually better also be like your same undertone. Like, I guess if this is your skin depth, it better also be your undertone, because the minute you try to adjust it with any of these other shades here, it's gonna lighten it. So this is as dark as you can go, and that's also your undertone, which I find this to be kind of a, I don't know, a very warm sort of undertone. And that's actually not that dark. Like, if you look at it, it's not super dark. So that's the one thing I would say is kind of not so great about this, is that it doesn't go that deep. Maybe they should have 2 to 3 iterations of ones that will work great for it. But I will also say, as somebody who was able to use 5 out of the 6 just in this look today, you're not gonna be able to use it that long. So I took this much out of these, and then a huge chunk out of this. I'm already at pan. And I'm only probably going to be able to use this about 20 times. Like, there's going to be 20 applications until this is probably gone. Each of these have about 2 grams of product in them, and they're the size of the Makeup Forever single eyeshadows, in case you were kind of looking for like a reference, like a size reference for these. The problem with that is I looked on their website and I couldn't find refill pans anywhere. So maybe that's something they're gonna come out with in the future, but I don't think this is new. I think that this has been out for a couple of months now. I think if you were somebody who does makeup on other people, and sometimes, not all the time, but like kind of like me, where I have friends, they know I'm into makeup and that I used to be a makeup artist, and they ask me, they're like, hey, can you do my makeup for this event? I think this would be perfect for something like that, because I would be able to take it and either adjust tone, or I know I would have something for everybody if that situation came up. And I do like the variety of the blush shades here and the tones. I think that's great. There's just not a whole lot of product in here. I think there's plenty of product for the blushes, but for the foundations, not really a ton of product in there. And this is really nice and compact. I was actually thinking about this for, again, I have my summer travel coming up with Army, where I'm gonna be gone 3 to 4 weeks this summer in total. And something like this is perfect for variety. I will say though, I was hoping that the foundation would look a little bit better on the skin, or have a little bit, not necessarily coverage, because I'm not really a full coverage person. And this could also be because I've been sick and blowing my nose, and the skin here is probably a little bit more dry. But if I zoom you in, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but like in my mustache area here, it looks like really dry and textured. I'm gonna zoom you out because nobody should have to look at my mustache that closely. But the rest of the skin looks really nice and glowy, and you can still see my freckles through it, and you can also still see like my blemishes. Again, I'm kind of sick, so my skin's going crazy. You're gonna need another concealer with this. You won't be able to really use these as a concealer. So overall, I think this is a good product, but I think it's not for everyone. I think if you fall into the categories of somebody who does makeup on other people occasionally, someone who maybe your skin tone changes a lot, like mine does. I wear sunscreen all summer, but I can already tell you that my face is darker now than it was in the winter. Yeah, and you need it to be able to travel. I think this is perfect for that. All right, so jumping into this palette, this is the Face and Eye Bronzer Highlighter palette, the SUNSTALKER palette from FENTY. So if you're using this for something other than eyeshadow, you're gonna have to use a small brush to get into these. And honestly, you're gonna have to go in like with a small brush in like 2 or more, and just know that you're gonna mix it. Because I don't think I have a brush small enough that would work for bronzer that would fit in only one of those. It's gonna get into another one, which is fine. I don't mind mixing, but just kind of know that that's pretty much how you're gonna have to use this. The highlight shades are really pretty. The gold one is too dark for me, but this one right here has a, which I've already swatched them, has like a really pretty sort of pinky peachy sort of sheen to it, which makes it really beautiful and wearable. The gold one I'm just gonna have to use as an eyeshadow, which I did today. So there they are. They're very pretty though. And this also comes down to the thing that I found with the last palette. If you have a deep skin tone that is too deep to be able to use this as a bronzer, this would be the only one that would work as a bronzer for you. But then also all of these shades right here are gonna look a little bit chalky on your eyes. So I would say this is probably best for anybody who is a little bit darker than medium, and lighter. But also this shade right here, you're not gonna be able to use on your face or really as an eyeshadow or anything unless you are pale like me. I have a little bit of sun right now, and that's as dark as that one looks on me. That's the shade though that I purchased and that I use in the winter as a bronzer. But overall, I like this. I think that you can get like a really cohesive, sort of simple bronze look from it. All right, so then popping into this isn't new, but it is a new repurchase for me. I just really love this shade. I ought to try some other shades from them, but I ran out of the shade Hush and I felt like I needed it. And so here is Hush. It is just a sort of light sort of pink shade. I think they also have one called Shell that I might be interested in. But there it is. I've like swatched it in multiple places now. It's just a really natural sort of glow that's not overwhelming on the face, so I really love that. And then talk about this mascara. The packaging of this mascara is beautiful. It feels luxe. I like that it's in glass packaging. It feels heavy, but the wand on it has such large gaps in it that it kind of gathers your lashes together. I'm gonna go in for a third coat here while I talk about it. Kind of gathers the lashes together and makes you look like you have fewer lashes than what you do. Which that look isn't necessarily bad. I feel like it can be pretty impactful to where people can actually see your lashes from further away if your lashes are kind of grouped together, if that makes sense. But at the same time, I have like a kind of a bald spot here, and that is also very noticeable with a wand like this. If you have any bald spots, it's kind of like group everything else around it, and then it makes your bald spot even look bigger than what it was. And then the last thing I want to talk about are these eyebrow products. So I have the gel, which I have no idea where I stuck, and oh, here it is. So I have the gel and the pencil. The pencil I've used before, I just switched to a new shade, and I think it does look more natural. The gel is actually new to me, and there are two sides to this brush. There's a longer and a shorter, and I actually really like this. I find that it puts the brows exactly where they should be, and this sets down really well. Like your brows are not moving when you put this in. So I actually really like this brow gel. Anyway, so that's everything I've tried out today. I really enjoyed all of the products. If you own any of these or have any additional thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.
Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds to turn the memory